Training camp is afoot, and we're already getting the big puff pieces. Derrick Henry only eats chicken and rice and broccoli. Oh my God, we got so much to talk about today. Of course, I'm already in a draft room here. It's stream draft number 135 for me on the year, and BBM number 70. What is it? I already did the banner, so I should know this offhand. BBM number 73 for me on the year. So we are almost at the halfway point. I'm at the 102. Going to get some CeeDee Lamb, which is good because I'm only at 7% of them. So CeeDee Lamb, come on down to this squad. The goal for me in round one is to be over on everybody besides Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. So we've lived up to that goal so far. We'll see what we do. But an early start today here on Splash Play for the reasons you already know why. It'll be a different room today, though, as a result. No regulars in here that I could tell. Redo Heat Craig B is sometimes in a draft. And Patrick Barnes YouTube is a guy who at least at some point did thumbnails for ETR. So the luminaries are out today here in this draft room, along with me in the 102, which is really the only thing I care about. One thing I learned today, though, before doing the stream here, you can only ask for your underdog exposure CSV once a day, once in 24 hours. So I cannot update my exposures with yesterday's two drafts until after, I think, 10:47 a.m. on the East Coast. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting reveal here when I update my exposures live on the stream coming up in about 10 minutes. Standard start here, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. So yeah, the big piece that came out, you're probably going to see the quote a good amount on Twitter today. Derrick Henry, an athletic profile, which really I think speaks to, number one, Derrick Henry's committed to himself. Number two, a thing that I've talked about a lot here, my generalized concerns for one, Travis Kelce, and that he's out there touring the world with his pop star billionaire girlfriend. And again, I'm going on a rant here. It sounds almost like I'm a Fox News talking head or an MSNBC talking head right now, the way I'm going to talk about Travis Kelce. But he's out there with his jet-setting billionaire girlfriend. He's out there recording TV shows with noted Hollywood gay icon Ryan Murphy. But no, like for real, he's doing all these other things. He's got his podcast as well, getting a ton of views. Meanwhile, Josh Allen at number 6. Glad we did a weirdo room today. He's out there doing all this stuff, whereas Derrick Henry, according to this Athletic article, spending $250,000 a year on personal care, and that includes IVs for himself. That includes the personal chef, which I'm sure Travis Kelce is a personal chef too. But, you know, when you're on the road in Europe, when you're out partying, when you're out doing stuff, when you're at concerts with some frequency, you're probably not eating as clean as you could. So these are the things that I think if you're going to read that Derrick Henry piece, the stuff to read into it is he's going to get out what he's putting in, and he's putting a lot in right now. Besides that, though, you know, he's definitely a guy where you have the questions about the mileage and all that. You have the questions about what he's going to do as he gets older. He's definitely past the 27-year age cliff for most RBs. It seems like he's got the juice to keep it going. But obviously, whether his body will allow, no matter how many smoothies he's drinking, no matter how much gluten-free things he's eating, might still be a thing that can fail him, I'm sure. Nothing else too weird in this first round other than, let me guess, a Puka Nacua Marvin Harrison start at the 1-2 turn. I swear to God, it is like I am scripting this in advance for me to have these situations occur. But I am at the 2-hole, and of course, the 12-hole gets Puka and Marvin Harrison. The worst bit in fantasy, there's two bad bits in fantasy football. One is the guy who's in every draft of mine. Thankfully, we're free of today. The other one is everybody in the world getting Puka Nacua and Marvin Harrison together. The most fun Week 17 pairing, I think, one of the biggest upside ones, at least right now on the board. And they're getting it. I'm not. All right, Chunk here, bright and early. Morning, Spags. What's up, Chunk? Appreciate you being here. Assume it's not a breakfast taco day, but if it is, I'm rooting for you all the same. I feel like you got the metabolism to keep it up, so you can have your breakfast tacos on a Thursday. Whereas me, I have to starve myself to look this beautiful every day on stream. Let's see what the 6-hole guy does after the insane Josh Allen start. Not sure what we're going to see on this one. Oh, hey, all right. Well, I know what we're going to see. Let's see what this guy does at the same time. But Matthew, welcome to the family. Matthew is part of being in this channel. He gets to be VIP Discord. You get access to that now. 10 team reviews a month. And of course, my rankings, 275 blurbs. So you'll know every play on the block. I feel like I gotta integrate some Italian thing, right? So hey, Paisan, welcome to the family. Thank you for being a member here. And of course, supporting the show. Appreciate you, Matthew. The Matthews, the Adams, the Chris's, they've all supported me in time. Great to see it. Been watching for a while. Appreciate it. Thank you, Matthew. Very kind. And Of course, make sure to go sync your YouTube to your Discord if you want to get the VIP Discord channel, the Squirt Squad VIP channel that's hidden on Pizza Paz Kingdom Discord unless you are a member here. So check that out. And team reviews as well on Discord if you want those. Do make sure to put in a lot of work with team reviews. There's a lot of them given out these days. Some people really seem to be appreciating the feedback, so I'm glad to see that. A lot of team reviews going, and that's probably the biggest value add I can give besides my rankings, which I think are a good read, even if you don't use them directly on Underdog. All right, we're on the clock here. Devontae Smith coming back ADP-wise. He would not be the pick, though. Jalen Waddle would be. Saquon Barkley would be. Waddle in this build, when you don't get Tyreek, I do think there is some logic to taking Waddle. But Devontae for the week 17 does seem fun. Let's make it work. Devontae Smith, CeeDee Lamb start. Nothing too crazy here. Sometimes you can get that as a little bit more of a value, I suppose. But we'll do the start here. Week 17 correlation, 2 receivers. I don't mind. And Devontae Smith, for what it's worth, I would have ranked a little bit ahead of Jalen Waddle. The markets don't agree. So that's unfortunately the big differentiation we have there. Take MSJ and come back and get Cup round 3. No, it's not the same. It's not what we're looking for. Saquon here is kind of interesting at this point, still being on the board. Waddle and Neighbors both go. I think Neighbors might have been a little bit tempting. Waddle might have been a little bit tempting. Really level up on Philadelphia, Dallas. Sure, why not? Why not? I pulled up this chat by mistake. Ha, I'm working my ass. No room for tacos. Oh, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I hate to see that. I don't know why ever since I went on vacation, by the way, so there's 2 weird things. Every day I have to adjust my camera filter to like make it so my color like looks like my actual color. And then the second thing is like my mouse now clicks weirdly. It's like since when on vacation, my brain function has not been there quite as well. And then also my technology stopped working. I don't know what happened. Maybe just all the banging around in a suitcase. Who knows? We have a CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley start. So my drafting prowess remains as strong as ever. And Saquon Barkley, I mean, you saw the Giants' hard knocks this week, I'm sure. The Eagles wanted to pay him, so really went out of their way to do so. And apparently the Bears were interested in him too. So Saquon, how could we go wrong, right? How could we go wrong? It's also about his YouTube channel with over 40 to 50,000 subscribers. Just doing what? I know that I know he's the ETR thumbnail guy. Let's see. Patrick Barnes YouTube. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Here, let's look at the tab.
Quincy,
this is a different Patrick.
Give me
Barnes,
that whiskey
though.
bottle. I just caught you getting out.
Oh,
I caught you getting in the
got
cupboard. Give it back, you angry little drunk.
Quincy,
this is my whiskey.
What are you doing, Quincy? I don't know if this is the same guy. Oh, Quincy's. That doesn't sound good. Quincy's health 2 years ago. Oh, Quincy's still around. At least a year ago. There's a lot of subscribers for that many views, but all right. Hey, more power to him. If that's our Patrick Barnes. Though Jason's saying no, it is not. So I don't know what we're saying. Oh, it might be answering this. Is handcuffing the RBs mid-round, such as Tennessee, Arizona, or Cincinnati, a smart strategy? I don't mind doing it sometimes. I would really say more if one of them's a faller. That's where you could do that more. But I've taken Pollard and Spears together. I don't mind that. I've taken Brown and Moss together. I don't mind that. The third one, Arizona, a little bit less than that one. I suppose there's a path where Benson is getting some pass downs. I mean, this has been my assumption the entire time is that Benson gets some pass downs. So it's mostly Connor getting, 18 to 20 plus touches in a game. Still think that's the way that goes. But I guess you could play it where, I don't know. You can play it where Benson does more. I just don't think that's the most likely based on what we know so far, which at this point, heading into training camp, it's been all positive talk for Connor as a bell cow. So, your mileage may vary. But I think you could do it. Just I wouldn't do it all the time. I wouldn't go out of my way to do them together in drafts. Just don't think it's Miami. And I've mentioned a few times, like Achane and Mostert last year was such a unique situation. But also Achane and Mostert, like to have that level of production, it's a team level thing, feeding the RBs that much. It's also a team in Miami who's in position to score a lot of touchdowns. You have to have a lot of things going right to have 2 RBs hitting like an Achane and Mostert did last year that I wouldn't expect anybody to be able to do that again. For its false you, that would be ideal. Thank you, Jeff. I don't want to put it out in the universe. In a world where Josh Allen goes number 6, I don't want to put it out in the universe. But I guess this guy was just trying to get a unique combo. Again, really don't think you need to be doing unique combos on July 18th. Think in general, you could save that for August when we have some injuries. We have some guys who move down. We have some things that shift ADPs a little bit. I just don't think now is the time to force your way to Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, and Kyron Williams. But people are going to do what they're going to do. People are really, I think off the beaten path this year would be the best way to say it. Christian Kirk at 38, which honestly I'd rather have than T. Higgins at 37. Kirk, to me, as I've talked about enough times, think he gives you an easy 10 to 15 points in half-point PPR, and it's assuming, not getting a lot of touchdown work. If he gets a touchdown work on top, those are going to be the weeks where he makes your lineup pretty easily. So Kirk, to me, at his price point, I don't know. What's the difference between Kirk and Michael Pittman, really? A few more weapons for Jacksonville, but a higher pass rate, higher expectation of dropbacks. So I think that comes out in the wash. Sam Laporta watch. Laporta goes at 40 today. So he does reliably get into the late 30s and 40s now. Could be some interesting discounts for Laporta coming up. I feel like he's getting the reverse steam right now from people who are afraid to take a young tight end, even though, as we always say here, biggest leap for guys, year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3. At every position, tight ends have a later breakout period sometimes. That's second contract for tight ends. You hear about a lot. Guy like Noah Fant's in that right now. Evan Ingram was in that in the past. That's certainly going to be a tight end breakout as well. But in general, the biggest leaps for most positions is going to be that first year production gets increased again, hopefully. Ray Cashout, really thinking about it, or Ray Cash Out. I don't know why my brain went to Ray Cashout first, but Ray Cash Out. This guy loves to cash out. I mean, look, a unique combo for sure with Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, and Amari Cooper. What did it cost, though? What was it worth doing it right now in July? Big tight end run here. Laporta, Kelsey, McBride. We are live for some fun stuff potentially coming back. We shall see what Fun Run and Donita do. Travis Etienne, my lowest exposed guy, I believe, in the first 50 picks, rather. Come on, Donita. Donita, if we're going to go with the Pokemon pronunciation of Ponyta. All right, take McLaurin. So Jalen Hurts, come on down. Could try to push Jalen Hurts around the bed for funsies, but we'll let this guy. I presume this guy is going to do a Lamar Mark Andrews would be my guess. But let's see what he does. Not worth risking it at this point when we have the near 6-pick discount on Jalen Hurts. So a strong Philadelphia Dallas. There we go. Did I call that or what? Andrews and Lamar goes to this guy. We can pair on an elite tight end. We can also try to dig out a little bit at receiver, which might be the more logical move. I've got a lot of Keenan Allen, a lot of Hollywood Brown. I am low right now on Jaden Reed, and I think I'd like to fix that. So Jaden Reed, come on down. I think Kincaid would have been viable with deviations for Hurts and Saquon. Does feel like we needed the third receiver in. So Jaden Reed, third receiver in, a little bit of an ADP reach. Team so far, Jalen Hurts at QB, Saquon Barkley, again, Philadelphia correlation, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, and Jaden Reed as our wide receivers. So unique wide receiver room. Want to get my Reed exposure up. Think that all works well. What? Don't need a QB. Get all the Hurts you can handle. Okay, there we go. We got all the Hurts I can handle here, which is one share. I think in general, you can't get more than one share of Jalen Hurts as far as I know. Happy with the start, though. I think it still comes down to getting some nice little wide receiver pockets coming up to hit that 5 and ideally definitely at least my first 100 picks, but ideally closer to the first 80 if we can get it. But we'll see what we get. Obviously, the elite tight end might be appealing. Another QB, probably not an option. Another RB, probably not an option. And here's what Ray Cashout is going to do. Mr. Unique Josh Allen at 6. What genius lies ahead? Mahomes as well. Okay, so we're doing just dumb shit. Here I thought this guy was doing something that might be like interesting galaxy brain stuff. And nope, we're just taking unstacked Patrick Mahomes, knowing that you're probably not going to get Worthy back, knowing that you're probably, you don't have Kelsey, you don't have Hollywood. Ray Cashout indeed. Slammed at work again this week. Please, God, give me top 10 BBM or all the puppy/Dalmatian wins. Look, BBM wins are the only ones that count. I think it was Neil Orfield, our pal, promoting some guy on streams like the Pitbull winner. And I'm like, man, that's impressive that you won the Pitbull. That said, I don't know. Just the guy is and no disrespect to him because I think he followed me. Had 200 followers. And I'm sure he's a lovely guy who's very sharp about the stuff. But it's man, when you win a Pitbull, you win a Puppy 7. I don't know what it does for you. It's BBM or bust. That's why all the entries go here. Yeah, getting to 1 mil would be important. But for the glory, it's still a BBM win. Is the week 17 correlation wheel coming back, Spags? First of all, it was just the team stacking wheel. But no, not doing that this year, honestly, because I noticed last year that the gimmicks kind of don't really change the view count very much. So I just want to build clean teams. And for me, especially like last year, I think the AR injury really fucked me up. The Christian Watson injury, both those parts fucked me. But I think getting a little overconfident and like just the stream part of it and not focused enough on my gambling was something I didn't like in my portfolio. So I did want to focus more on my gambling this year. So not doing as many gimmicks, unfortunately. There's definitely, hey, I try to have fun here, still gimmick it up to some extent with 0 RB Friday and so committing to taking a hero RB build, but that's about as far as I can go. Too important to get a win this year. Too important to finish, ideally top 20 this year. Playing's going to be a fun landing. I hope so. Fuck glory, only the hole I care about. Other than that, fill my bags. Well, I think if you find the right hole, you can empty your bags as well. Joe Mixon goes at 61. Still think he's a great value at that spot. One thing, that Derrick Henry article that came out in The Athletic, again, is the only real news piece that came out within the last 24 hours. Weird, even though training camps are started. Feels like only thing I've seen is some white passing from the Colts. It's been about it. Texans were in the hunt for Derrick Henry too before he did go to the Ravens. So that would have been a fun one. All the people who love going anti-Derrick Henry or anti-Texans when Derrick Henry's on the card, he could have been a Texan, which frankly would have been better than Joe Mixon. But Mixon is the guy there, and Mixon will benefit accordingly. I married my one and only hole. Wow, that sounded worse. Okay, there you go. Let's super chats decide 18th round picks. Yeah, $18 super chats can decide my 18th round. But then people are just gonna fucking ruin my team. Have we not seen enough that people don't have the loving care for my team that I do? If I knew that people were only gonna give serious 18th round picks, sure. But I do think it should be $18. Not the cost of a full BBM, but it's important enough to the texture that, Rashad White at 65. That's my Rashad White exposure. I might not have a share. It's either that or one share. You had no shares of Rashad White yet. No shares of Mike Strachan either. Tough scene. Rashad White, of course, I'm in the bag for Big Bucky Irving, who ironically is not big at all and is in fact quite small. Bucky, to me, player who should immediately be able to get on the field there. Hopefully that bet ends up being true. If not, Rashad White can certainly burn you with volume, even if not actual efficiency. Rashard Spags Schultz will pay for super chats. That's maybe. Well, hey, look, if anyone wants to throw an $18 super chat out there, that's the going price. And then if somebody bids 19, then I have to take their pick. And then if somebody bids 20, then I have to take their pick. And that, that way we all win. It's not just me winning. It's us all winning from competition. I just realized this guy's name is Jack Hoffman. Come on, man. It's no Lyle Kittenhouse, but it's definitely a questionable one. Evan Ingram goes to 69. Sure. Making a bet on Jacksonville without the receivers, it seems. All right, pick coming up here. Addison falling in rooms. ADP is down to 75.6, so probably not the guy to take here necessarily. My ranks are what we're sorting by. I got to move Addison down for that DUI, but unfortunately, rankings came out before the DUI hit. Worthy is here, a little bit of a discount. Worthy is very fast. Really low. Well, lower on Lad. All right, let's go Lad. I think the clock is back to normal today, by the way. So that was a real zero count. So Lad, McConkey, we're back. Don't think Adam's in chat yet. So unfortunately, he's not going to see me. I do wish Adam were in chat because Georgia Southern beat Georgia in my college football 25 dynasty year 2, beat him in the CFP. So suck a dick, Georgia, is what I would say. All right. So Addison, I'm honestly comfortable with Addison at this ADP, especially because we have the bet on Jaden Reed here. Wouldn't mind more JSN. Do you think more JSN is a decent move as well? But we're doing correlation stuff. It's a correlation kind of day. So I'll take Addison basically at his ADP. We don't know if he's going to get suspended or not. Even if he does get suspended, he's my wide receiver 5. Not really that worried about it. So Jordan Addison, we've got to 5 receivers through 74 picks. So hit our goal there. It's Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, Lad McConkey, and Jordan Addison. interesting 3 to 5 here. I'm going to say it feels more like a full point PPR, 3 to 5 at receiver at the spot. But still like these guys. Really nothing tempting me too much at tight end. I guess could have gone up and taken Ferguson, who I'm low on, but not doing that because I don't basically make it so we should take Dak in that kind of build, and we already have our bet. Value taking a second QB is not game stacking the same game. So lesson learned from last year. Ladd and Brian Thomas Jr. favorite double tap. Interesting. I don't mind Brian Thomas Jr. Ladd, I guess I'll get above the field on him. Do you want to at least be with the field on Ladd? I just think, to me, you got Palmer there, who's still got a certain amount of role. You have QJ. You have enough guys coming in like DJ Chark, who could take some amount of work away. And then you're expecting to be a low pass rate offense overall. So what's the real volume that's there for Ladd? I still think it's not that high. I kind of view him as like a 6 for 50 kind of guy, which, that's just again, off the top of my head projection for what I think the workload is. 6 for 50 and half point PPR. I don't know what's really doing you with, I don't expect him to have a lot of touchdown equity either. So that's how I feel about Ladd. Still think the talent's fine, but he's got to corner a market on a roll, and he wasn't a great target earner at Georgia playing with real talent. So why is he going to be a target earner in the pros playing with pro level talent? I don't know. I hope I woke Adam from his slumber. Fucking again, kick George's ass. Actually, I didn't really kick George's ass. So I had to play the game twice, not because I was losing. I was playing the game before I had to pick Luca up from daycare, and I was up, and we had 1 minute left. And I had to run the clock out against Georgia, which is incredibly hard because their run defense in that game is fucking impossible. So couldn't run out the clock, and I was like, I got to end the game because I have to go pick up Luca, and I'm still on the 10-hour trial until the cheat boy version comes out tomorrow. So basically, had to play the game again, and it was incredibly easy the second time. The first time was I had to sweat every touchdown. Second time, we were up 3 scores in the fourth quarter. And my team is not good. Great play caller, obviously, with me behind the helm. A lot of deep shots. Our QB, who I don't know if he's a real person or not, Bryce Archie, he's really doing a great job. I think he's a real person. Which has been the one thing for NCAA that's thrown me off is some of these guys are real. Yeah, Bryce Archie's a QB for USF. So I got him in the transfer portal, and he led us to glory over Georgia. And this is the joy of NCAA football. You just don't get from Madden the same way. Just these guys who are I don't fucking know Bryce Archie. I don't know LV Bunkley Shelton, who's actually a guy who plays for Georgia Southern, used to play for OU. I don't know these guys, and now they're near and dear to my heart. We're on a journey. We're going to be competing for the semifinals of the CFP soon. Anyway, Ladd McConkey, though. Ass. Just getting in, no drop on Addison for you. He should drop, but I'm not going to get him at pick 95, so had to take him there. Do you want to still get the Minnesota-Green Bay correlation? I think a little bit of a drop is fair, but for this build, he appealed to me the most. If I had to guess, his price point should still probably be ahead of Cortland Sutton, maybe. But Sutton goes 86 here, so who knows? At least one of the Charger receivers are going to be an insane value. You just got to somehow figure out which one. It's entirely possible there's not one that's an insane value. It's entirely possible it's a team of 18% target shares competing in an offense where there's 30 dropbacks a game. It's a very decent reality. So, you can play it how you play it differently if you want, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that Herbert's an insane value either, unless he starts running a ton more. But, one can be. One can be. I just don't think that's an assured thing by any stretch. Saw Juju Lewis in the game. He's not even college yet. I didn't know that. I saw that Arch Manning, not Archie Manning, got his deal done, so he's in it. Apparently, incredibly overrated from what the social media people are saying. Chargers offense is like a slow-moving train that won't stop and you're running late for work. Yeah, fair way to look at it. The express train coming on by, meandering along at 1 mile an hour. If you remember, if anybody out there has been in New York subways, it's you'll sometimes be at a train station and it's oh, I need this train. And it's oh, this train is skipping my stop for no reason. And it's not even going fast. It's just rubbing it in my face going by. That's going to be the Chargers offense. It's a fair way to look at it. All right, Jalen Warren goes. Big RB run here. Dak goes to a guy with nothing Cowboys related ahead of ADP. These are why we do these rooms. Been some fucking dumb shit picks in this draft, which is all I want. If every stream I had was just dumb shit picks going on around me, I would be delighted. Even if it led to more sniping, I'd be delighted. We might also get no, this guy fucking took Ferguson at 94. Really thought we were gonna get Ferguson back at a huge discount. We can go back to RB at a huge discount. We get a share of Brock Bowers, who I do want to get my exposure back up on. DeAndre Swift doesn't correlate. Jaden Daniels correlates for week 16. I'll get a share of Brock Bowers here. I'll do the responsible thing. We get our quote-unquote elite tight end in, at least the guy with elite tight end potential. I'm also going to see if I can update my exposures here. No, I shouldn't do it now because then I won't be able to update for tomorrow. Oh, what they got me by the balls here. All right, Zamir White would give us another bet on Las Vegas as well. Big discount on Zamir White, 10-pick drop at this point. I do love Jaden. Do think Jaden and Jalen Hurts going head-to-head and being together on the same team would be fun here. But we don't have McLaurin. We have this little bit on Vegas. Zamir White being a faller. We'll get another share of him. So the team so far is a 1-2-5-1 that I'm feeling pretty good about. We got the discounted Jalen Hurts here, added another pick in. We're taking Hurts in the 4th round. Saquon Barkley, Zamir White is our RBs. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, Ladd McConkey, Jordan Addison, who, again, would like to see him drop a little bit more because of the suspension, but I could take him at ADP when I'm not picking for another 20 picks. And Brock Bowers is our tight end. So obviously, Dallas Goedert would be a logical tight end pick, but I just don't have faith in him as my tight end 1. So we're going to go Brock Bowers there. Guys, Zone Chuba coming in at a normal time. We started bright and early today to get a different look at a draft room. So apologize to all the people coming in, trying to see me at the usual time frame, but I got to move it around for myself. Just can't have the same rooms every day and can't reward people being crazy either is going to be the other part of it. That's the name of the game. Besides me, I'm rewarded for my depreciating sanity. 3rd QB for Ray Cashout. Oh my God. Stupid moves. Just stupid moves. And the thing is, like, he's not doing bad draft capital receiver. Like, he needs one more in. Certainly could use a tight end more than QB3 at pick 102. But, like, he's not building a bad team besides just the obsessive need to grab more QBs unstacked. But just what an error. Take your wide receiver for Josh Allen there. Bad move. I assume this isn't news and it's just you speculating. This is how I find out on the stream from Ball King, but I don't think that's the most likely if that is not news that's currently occurring. It says on the bottom of the screen, Best Ball Mania draft, and I said in the beginning as well. It's a Best Ball Mania draft. I only do Best Ball Mania drafts and drafters drafts here on stream. And it does not seem like Ayuk to Washington is a thing. So please don't put things in there because that actually could be a real news item that I would need to discuss on a stream. Working like a madman this week. Hope the Squirt Gang is healthy, well, and not getting sniped today. Well, we'll see. Whoever has Terry McLaurin, I think, probably annoyed at Ray Cashout, but doesn't affect me. Patrick Barnes, YouTube, took Joe Burrow with Higgins at 84. Don't know that he's taken the most advantage of some of the nice stuff that he got in the 12 hole. But he got scooped on Kyler. That's probably why. Okay, there we go. Meant to put a question mark. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Ayuk to anything is happening. He's going to be a Niner. This is a team that wants to compete for a Super Bowl. I can't make this clear enough. Team that wants to compete for a Super Bowl does not get rid of one of the best perceived players in football in a time period where they're trying to win a Super Bowl. When they have him under team control and there's no real way for him to force their hand other than losing ungodly amounts of money for himself. So no, I would not expect there to be a trade unless the Niners are really confident in Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. And it's going to be hard to be confident in Pearsall with him starting on an NFI non-football injury for training camp. So the most logical thing to do is just assume that Ayuk doesn't go anywhere. Somebody would have to bowl them over with an offer that they weren't willing to bowl them over with, a couple weeks ago. More likely thing is that they reach some accord at a I don't know. I think Ayuk wanted $30 million a year. Niners wanted $24 a year. They get to 27. Probably is how that goes. But yeah, don't assume a trade for Ayuk is what I would do. And if he falls because of it, great. He's not been falling, I don't think, in most rooms. Here he fell to 21, but saw him go at like 14, I believe, yesterday. Raiders swapping Adams for Ayuk is the funniest lie we've heard so far. Yeah, I don't see how that would be possible either. I mean, I guess contract-wise, it probably is some way to do that, but that seems like a complete insane rumor. And an insane one to come, too, in a week where, like, his people just denied, Davante Adams people just denied, talking any trade stuff at all about the Jets. Maybe a little too much smoke there where there's now 2 times where people are doing that. But I think Davante Adams, just because of his age, because he's a known quantity, and because he's had, some not great quotes in the past about the Raiders situation, even though I do think the language changed when Antonio Pierce came in. I think that for that, like people, it's just media. It's just media doing media shit. And like, oh, the Davante Adams, is he going to look for a trade? It's like he hasn't given any signal he wants to trade in a while. The receiver thing, though, probably doesn't help. All right, we're on the clock here. Dallas Goedert still here, but do you think we need to add another RB in? Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, both guys I am heavy on. No correlation tiebreaker here with our current QB situation. Ford's probably coming down. If I had to guess, Chase Brown should come up. Ford will come down a little bit on the Nick Chubb stuff because of the fact that Chubb looks good. Then when Chubb is announced to be on the PUP list, then Brown should come back up. But we get a third RB in here. Could really drive the team home with a fourth one, but I think we need to take Dallas Goedert for that second tight end. So Dallas Goedert, complete the Philadelphia stack here. Done at tight end with Goedert and Brock Bowers, I feel. Team so far is a 1-3-5-2, so we're going to have to hit RB a little bit more later on, and still have to hit wide receiver, have to find our second QB. I got Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Zamir White, Chase Brown, our RBs here. Wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, Ladd McConkey, and Jordan Addison. So we got our 5 and 75. Went away from the position for a little bit to try to make up at other spots. Got Brock Bowers in right at ADP. Wanted to get more of him. And Dallas Goedert, who I think just makes sense in Jalen Hurts builds, especially at a 7-pick ADP discount. So that is the team so far. Taking the second tight end puts us a little bit more at risk for the kind of RB room, kind of wide receiver room you want to see, but I'm okay with it. My buddy, diehard Bears fan, wants to trade Keenan and Herbert and some picks to grab Ayuk. Bears, I don't think that would be a trade that would work either. That would be that is an absolutely awful trade for the 49ers. Like, no disrespect to a Bears fan wanting to get the player, but that would be fucking insane for everybody involved. I mean, it would not be insane for the Bears. You'd do that trade in a heartbeat. But yeah, an RB you're not going to play, and a receiver who's over 30. About as old as any receiver being viable in the league, for a young receiver in his prime, who's at, probably a better version of the best version of Keenan Allen, I would say is probably not a good deal. He does play Madden too much. That's why your buddy could be a GM, I guess, for some people. But yeah, that's not the best, I would say, team capital awareness for that one. So 12 minutes late, you missed the whole draft. Yeah, it's a shame. Sometimes they're going to start at weird times. You got to have your notification bell on. The drafts will be going around 11 a.m. That much I can promise you, but it just gets to be too much. Like, it's legit was 6 of the last 7 drafts, the same guy forcing his way in after I've been tried really hard a bunch of different ways to get him to not keep doing it. So going to move it around. I'm going to do it for myself and also for the people who watch the streams who are like, again, same thing. He missed the Ladd selection, and he also missed Adam finding out that Georgia Southern beat Georgia in the CFP playoff next year in college football. The crystal ball of college football 2025 has led us to believe that Georgia Southern will have a tremendous victory over Georgia in the round 1 of the playoff and the quarterfinal. Great win for Georgia Southern. Probably not, too, but we'll see. It's honestly, it's days where there's a lot of views, I do second. Days where there's not, I don't. So I think that's how it goes. I don't know if it's Davis streaming or something today. I feel like must be the case. Or people are just tired of me. I don't know. Whichever it is, I'm still going to stream my drafts no matter what. Guys, like some heckler at the end of the blackjack table hitting his 16s. Well, this is what it is. Fortunately, the downside of being publicly gambling is that people are going to do weird things as a counterbalance to that. So the give and take of it all. And the downside is it only hurts me too. It's like, it hurts me because it makes for worse content. It hurts me because then like I have to move the times around so the view count gets weird. So I'm getting it double counted on both sides, unfortunately. Everybody does want to stream a draft now. It's true. It's a competitive landscape. It's why your likes and subscribes go a long way here. I honestly have been pandering enough for him, but please hit the like button. Please subscribe down below. Leave a comment if you're watching after the fact. All the engagements help a bunch. I know a lot of people watch after the fact these days too. I always see comments flowing in at nighttime. So appreciate you guys too. If you're watching, hit the like button, leave a comment and all that. As a solo proprietor who's been doing drafts every day since January, now there's a lot more shiny new toys out there, but I'll have a lot more insight for you as the preseason goes on. And that's what I do best, is give you guys insight before everybody else gives it to you regurgitated or incorrectly. That's the promise here. And bestballoverlay.com, if you see the data on my screen, I'm going to try to make sure to update it every morning. I guess if I have to do the CSV at 10 a.m., I think that'll make it work better. But you can see it on screen here. Exposures, week 16, week 17 matchups. You'd also add week 15 on there if you want. But the exposure part is a big one. Being able to manage that stuff at this point of the game can be crucial. So 1-3-5-2 here. We get some tasty treats back again, including Marshawn Lloyd. Need a fourth RB. This is it. It's Marshawn Lloyd. Don't know why I wouldn't do this. Unfortunately, I have too much Marshawn Lloyd in every possible situation with 43%. But in this particular build with the Minnesota Green Bay bet, he is a logical player to have on. Dalton Schultz goes a nice discount to Roto Heat here. Good for him. Dotson falling for no particular reason again. They do correlate for week 16 with Philadelphia. Also need to consider setting up some later stacks. I wish Jalen Polk didn't go so early. I think that would make my life a lot easier. I'm going to go Jahan Dotson here. Would have been a build where I'd have been willing to go Herbert, but Herbert went pretty early here. Herbert went 131 unstacked to this guy. Oh, God. The good side and the downside of these regular, like, normie drafts off the beaten path here, where it's not people knowing I was doing a stream when I went into it. You got Josh Allen going at 6 for a guy who takes 3 QBs. That helps out a lot. TJ Hawkinson is his first QB or first tight end off the board. Just a bad team. The downside is this guy taking unstacked Justin Herbert and seemingly not going to be willing to build it out. So that's a downer. I think when you have Lad, that's one of the few times I'm willing to go Justin Herbert's way. But anyway, if you want the data on your screen, bestballoverlay.com, promo code SPLASH on there gets you $10 off your first month. Normally $30 a month, so you get your first month for $20. If you go to bestballoverlay.com, use that promo code SPLASH on there. You don't want to take May with Hurts because he may not be starting by Hurts' bye week. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, Nix isn't the only viable bailout stack, but based off of guys, and actually no, I mean, you still have Bryce Young, still have other things. Wouldn't say that. But yes, with the bring back is sure. Luke Musgrave goes at 150. Still think he's a nice pick in this range when you don't already have 2 tight ends like I do. Musgrave had finally showed a spark of what he did in college in the playoffs last year against Dallas, having that deep play, which I think was a touchdown. I forget. But basically in that game, you know, his ability to get downfield is a big part of it. He didn't quite cash in when he was playing before his last rated kidney last year, Luke Musgrave, because Jordan Love was just bad under pressure. Couldn't hang in the pocket long enough for Musgrave to do things when he was initially getting going. Then Jordan Love figured it out, looked great in the back half of the last year. Musgrave has a big play coming back in. I think that's what I'm expecting a lot more of Musgrave. So I feel like I say that whenever Musgrave actually occurs to talk about, but do think it's important to highlight Musgrave as a guy that, I don't know, I think it's appropriately valued, but he should be more regarded as tight end too. Even by me, I think, because I think my exposure on him is not the highest right now. Yeah, 9% on Musgrave, which is fine. Musgrave will be going 50 picks higher next year. 50. He could be Jake Ferguson. So yeah, I guess it's possible. I think he's more likely. I think he's better than Kmet. I think he's better than Freiermuth. I think he might be better than Dallas Goedert. I could see 110s for sure. He's got to do a lot, I think, in that passing game. Like, it's too crowded is really the biggest issue for Musgrave. If it were a team where it's like it's just Christian Watson and Jaden Reed out there and you don't have, you know, Dobbs. You don't have Wicks coming on. You don't have Melton, who showed enough that maybe he deserves some routes, even though I don't think he's going to get a lot. You have enough guys there that make it hard for Musgrave to kind of hit that true ceiling. But game to game, like, he should benefit from having a lot of receivers running around, getting open, being able to work against zone. That's going to open things up for Musgrave downfield. Juwan Johnson does feel good in the 200s. I agree. For a guy who's expected to play week 1, getting a 30 pick discount with where he was going, just probably shouldn't be a thing. But people hate pre-injury risk for stuff like that. The bigger ones to worry about, like where maybe you can justify having a little bit of a ding in terms of ADP that stays with them, would be like, soft tissue injuries. For Juwan Johnson, I think he broke his foot, right? So it's not great, but it's also, or he had a bone broken in his foot. Not great, but also not like a hamstring thing, which can stick, as we saw last year with Christian Watson. Seen in the past with Keenan Allen. Geno goes here, 162. Really wide band of ADPs for Geno Smith. This guy's got JSN. I think he just didn't want to get scooped on every stack. It's going to happen. Geno is really like the litmus test for how much a room is panicking about QB. Because the room is like, oh, I can get this guy back, no problem. They'll push Geno to the 180s. I think I've seen Geno go in the 190s on stream. And in rooms where everybody's like, oh shit, like I'm going to be left in the game of musical chairs without a QB. Geno Smith at 162, I think, starts to become more of the play. Juwan's the only tight end you're over 20% on. That's a lot for a late guy. I still think, if you want to go crazy on him, as I think it's mostly as a bailout, as like your third tight end, maybe tight end 2 in some builds where you have a really good tight end 1. But I think even still, just a late pick, there's a lot of late picks that could be valuable there. So you don't always want to give away that spot. We do have Bucky Irving here. Jaleel McLaughlin falling a little bit, though he is one of my least favorite plays. At this point, though, do you think scooping him up makes sense? Jaleel McLaughlin, come on down. Week 14 bye, no real issue there. McLaughlin doesn't excite me very much. Some risk that Blake Watson takes his role, but big discount on him. 14 pick discount for really no particular reason. And I'll take Troy Franklin here. I think we know what we're going to set up. Not been taking a lot of Franklin lately, but still 21% of him. Kind of think, well, honestly, I've got 17% MIM, so it's not like I need to level that out. Do think, though, like the bet right now, knowing what we don't know about Denver, haven't seen them in camp yet, obviously full go, and their mini camp too is not the best reported in the world. I would probably want to split my exposures right now between Mims and Franklin in hopes that one of them can knock out old Tim Patrick or older Josh Reynolds. But definitely a little bit of a risk right now until we know who's running with the ones for Denver in general. Worthy concerns me too. Really like Rice and Hollywood. I mean, Worthy's going to cut into Rice's routes. He probably doesn't affect Hollywood. That's just not kind of the way that he is used, really. Like Worthy was, again, a guy who was used for a lot of quick lateral movement. Wasn't really used for straight line downfield speed at Texas. Could certainly be used differently here, but with what he was running before his hamstring injury, seemed like he was running some of the Rashee Rice underneath stuff more, some of the motion stuff that Kadarius Toney and McCole Hardman had last year. So I think Worthy, to me, probably hurts Rice the most. Brown is just kind of an independent part of it, I think, where he's going to be downfield, getting some targets that were probably going Justin Watson's way last year, going MVS's way occasionally. But I think those are different plays. I think they're using different route trees. Just notice you got the best ball overlay. Heck yeah, love it. There we go. Yeah, best ball Josh does a good job along with Pat from the Pound. Appreciate it. Glad to see Jared here. Appreciate all you guys watching live or after the fact. Again, keep doing the drafts here every day, Monday to Saturday at 11 a.m. If you want to get in the one with Saturday in particular, of course, you can use the promo code Underdog, promo code SPLASH from there, $250 in bonus cash right now. But Drafters is a really fun one because it's completely different than Underdog, where it's full point PPR, 17 weeks and no pods at all, no playoff pods. That luck component is gone, along with competing with people in your draft room. You're just competing for total points over the course of a season. Last year, I finished top 110 with just 9 entries on Drafters. Really do encourage you guys to check it out. Drafters.com, DRAFTERS.com. And you can download the app on there. And of course, use promo code SPLASH to get your $100 deposit match. And great rake back as well in the Drafters Million, which is the tournament I do every Saturday. $15 to first place, or I keep fucking saying that. $15 entry fee, $500K to first place. And one of the best deals you'll have, I think, in the biz in terms of how far your money can go. So check it out, drafters.com. All right. Bucky Irving goes at 178. Too cheap for Bucky. There's no reason in the world that Bucky should go at 178 and Kamani Vidal goes at 154. Vidal was not even really working with the first team. It was a lot of Isaiah Spiller with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins both out / in and out of the lineup in minicamp. Just really think Vidal, a guy who did not show shit at Troy, should not be going 2 rounds ahead of the guy who was a world beater at Oregon. I think that continues to stand out when it's the same player drafting him, especially. Fucking 20 pick difference for a guy with the most juice besides Marshawn Lloyd coming out this year, and Kamani Vidal, who couldn't shake anybody at Troy. I'm not like anti-Vidal really, but I'm anti-Vidal at 154 when Bucky's going to 178. Done a tiny bit in 20 round drafts on Drafters and DraftKings, but not Underdog. Yeah, I mean, look, I think to me, play Underdog for the normal stuff they do. I think playing the other sites for the things they do that are their flagships is the move. I certainly get why Underdog did a tournament. It's very similar to Drafters, but it's still full point PPR. That's the difference for DraftKings. It's a different 20 round thing that's a little more similar to BBM, but full point PPR. I think the sites having their own wrinkles is the most fun, most logical reason to play on all the sites. So I wish they would all just, I wouldn't say stay in their lanes, but innovate within the thing they're doing. That's it. I hope you're right, Jared, about bold take is that Bucky takes White's job. I don't know that he takes the job, but I think he, again, is another guy that should be in the hunt to get 5 to 10 touches. And if Rachaad White is not doing enough, and there's been signal that they don't love what they have in Rachaad White, he's a guy that doesn't avoid tackles that well. They've been open about saying we want a guy who's going to make people miss in space. That's Bucky Irving. It's also Chase Edmonds to a certain extent. Even theoretically, it would be Keyshawn Vaughn to a certain extent. Those guys have shown that they're not that guy right now. Whereas the last thing we saw of Bucky Irving was being incredibly shifty at Oregon. He's a little bit smaller, but I think, with Jahmyr Gibbs doing what he did last year, like Bucky is not that far off from Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of the size, in terms of what these guys are as players. Don't expect Bucky to get goal line work necessarily, but I think he's there. That's the hope. Split backfield come week 7, 8. I mean, if he gets early work, even better. I think he's live to get work with the first team right away. But certainly a thing where if he's not getting that, probably have to dial him back. But I do think at some point this year he does get on the field and does some stuff. I see what you're saying. It's a funny chat, but I don't want to need to pull the chat back up to make that joke work. Only have interest in Vidal and Herbert teams. Outside of those teams, he's untouchable. Yeah, a fair way to look at it. All right, so we have a 1572 here. Still need to get QB2. This guy also needs QB2. Let's just get our QB2 then. Bo Nix. Yeehaw. Bo Nix, come on down. Obviously, with Jalen Hurts as our QB, we don't need Bo Nix to do very much. So that's the main bet there for Bo Nix, who we already have a double with. Luke McCaffrey for opposite week 16 correlation, though I'm really heavy on McCaffrey. I'm honestly getting a lot of these guys late besides Zay Jones, which is fine by me. Jalen Tolbert for Oppo correlation. I mean, this is a little bit of a discount for McCaffrey. I'll go Luke here. I'll go Luke. Because I think we can do a different Dallas correlation late. Really nothing for Denver, Cincinnati I'd want to get. We do get Denver correlated with the Chargers, though, with Ladd McConkey, so that's pretty nice. Let's give this team a read. So I think we did a good job stacking on some little micro week 16, week 17 correlations. We've got Jalen Hurts and Bo Nix as our QBs. We've got Saquon Barkley, Zamir White, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jaleel McLaughlin as our RBs. And we have the high draft capital on Saquon, so we go a little bit lighter, sort of the RB capital. Wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, hopefully above the field on him now. Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, Ladd McConkey, Jordan Addison, Jahan Dotson, Troy Franklin, and Luke McCaffrey. And at tight end, Brock Bowers and Dallas Goedert. I think it's a pretty tight team. It's got enough little unique wrinkles, including getting the discount Saquon, getting Jalen Hurts in the 4th round, getting that early week 17 Dallas-Philadelphia correlation. And then we ended up getting some Denver LAC. Didn't get Denver Cincinnati, though, which is the one thing I guess we could tack on some bullshit late for Cincinnati, but it would really be like the Yoshivas, Charlie Jones tier, which doesn't do a lot for me. I've had the screaming hot take that long-term Bo Nix ends up being the best QB in this class. It's a tough one. I obviously think Caleb is very talented. Think Jaden's very talented. Think that Drake May does some good things, should be more accurate. Penix is in a pretty good situation to win immediately in Atlanta as well. I think Knicks can be quietly more competitive and successful than it seems like he'll be. Like, I think he can make a Super Bowl. I don't think he's going to like win a bunch of Super Bowls, especially with Peyton. Like, Peyton kind of needs to exert his genius now or never. And in the AFC, it's like, what is he going to unseat Mahomes during his window? The hope would be that another QB comes into Denver after Sean Payton when Mahomes is on the downswing. But like, Mahomes is still young enough that we probably have like another 10 years of him doing his thing, right? He's 28. So if he goes the Tom Brady route, 10 to 15 years. So I think it makes it hard for Bo Nix to get there. You're basically looking opposite conference for somebody to rise up. Oh, you know what? Good point. I do have Chase Brown. All right, fuck it. Correlated everything. Team is fire. I'll accept that. Correlating things without even realizing it. That's how deep my genius goes. But thank you for Jeff for pointing that out. Yeah, could tack on more Cincinnati. Could tack on more Dallas. There's one guy I don't mind drafting from Dallas who I haven't drafted at all yet. They could be a fun round 18 one, but depends on what we get on the way back here. So we'll see what we get here tomorrow. Zero RB Friday coming up on the channel. So hopefully that'll be one where I don't have to compete against 15 other streams. That's going to be the hope. But either way, we will commit to doing some zero RB teams tomorrow, making them clean. Saturday, we'll be on Drafters again. So use that promo code SPLASH at drafters.com if you want to do that. And baseball's back tomorrow, so I'll be back on the grind for Probably as well. So if you want to get some good sports betting data in your life, Probly.com. That's my baby. If you want to support this channel, best way to do it, hit the join button down below for $4.99 a month. Second best way to do it, though, is support Probably, my sports betting app that we're trying to keep afloat, moving in the right direction in time for football season. So check it out. Probly.com, Probly.com. And you get a 7-day free trial on there. And if you use the promo code SPLASH, you can also get 50% off along with the 7-day trial. So the best deal I can give to you guys is at Probly.com, Probly. Not Probly. I was not thinking Schumacher. No. If Schumacher had played in minicamp, I think he would have had a shot to get some whispers of a guy who could unseat Jake Ferguson. With him not playing in minicamp, being hurt already, kind of think he's got some issues for himself. Michael Penix getting drafted as your fourth QB. I swear to God, guys, if I don't get out of this fucking pod, I'm going to be really annoyed. This guy took 4 QBs and handcuffed Kirk Cousins. Insane move. That would be a ding for Hames and for Jeff. But I don't think I could take Jalen Brooks if Jalen Tolbert is still there in round 18. Like, the bet is still Tolbert for right now. But Brooks, if Tolbert goes, I think Brooks is a guy you take as a interesting little Dallas spring back for week 17. But, you know, Jack Hoffman might take Brooks, might take Tolbert. Who knows? Benny. All right, Benny's trying to help me out. I don't think these guys are in the room. It's possible, though. People do know when they see me in a room, they know I do a stream, and sometimes they come in. So I don't know, but I don't think these guys were. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping they are not in the Jalen Brooks streets or the Jalen Tolbert streets. So they're in neither of the Jalen streets. Love when the 18th round is all 30-second clocks timing out. Really just kills my momentum as I'm excited to see which mediocre Dallas Cowboys wide receiver 3 I'll get. So it's him, Patrick, too nuts. It's not too nuts. I don't. It's just hard to bet on a guy with a history of injuries and a younger core that don't expect to be competitive for a playoff spot this year. Theo Johnson getting drafted by Fun Run. Still think Bellinger is the play over him for now. But you make the bet either way you want. Ambiguous tight end room. All right, Malik Washington goes, I don't think he can pass up Tolbert, though. His ADP is down enough. But I've still got Tolbert at 200. I think Tolbert is still the binary bet. So we're going to go Tolbert's way here. Brooks, what's Brooks' ADP at? Jalen Brooks starting to get drafted a little bit, it looks like. But for right now, I think we keep leading in the thing we know. And if Brooks is running ahead of Tolbert, then we'll start dialing in Brooks more later on. So final team here. Feel pretty good about it. My draft number 70. Was it 72? What? Hold on, I'm confused again. This is number 73. I think it just did an update. Or I miscount. No, yeah, 73. There we go. All right, we got Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix at QB, Saquon Barkley, Zamir White, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jaleel McLaughlin as our RBs. Wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, Lad McConkey, Jordan Addison, Jahan Dotson, Troy Franklin, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Tolbert. So didn't stack up the heaviest. So you can see with the best ball overlay tool, it brackets the guys who are directly stacked with my QB. So not a ton of direct stacks, but obviously a good amount of bringbacks here with Dallas, Philadelphia, and even Denver, Cincinnati. And also Philadelphia, Washington, a lot of week 16 bringbacks. And tight end, we have Brock Bowers, Dallas Goedert, who does stack up with my QB. I like this team. I think this is a pretty clean team. But again, I think we're going to get our dick kicked in views-wise. We're going to call it there. Guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment if you're watching after the fact. Drafts will be going every day around 11 a.m. I do start them early sometimes just to get different rooms and get different looks. And frankly, with teams like this, I think you get why I do it a little bit more. So please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. Of course, Underdog. Oh, of course, there we go. Whoa. Underdog, though, is what I was trying to click. Promo code SPLASH on Underdog, $250 in bonus cash. If you're not playing on there, please do it. Best Ball Overlay. If you are playing on Underdog, go to bestballoverlay.com. Get data on your screen, including exposures. I think it's cheaper than some of the other tools out there as well for just $30 for your first month, with $10 off on top of that. So just $20 for your first month. Check it out, bestballoverlay.com. Promo code SPLASH on there. Probably my baby, probably.com, PROBLY.com to learn more. Top of market sports betting, EV-based sports betting that will change your life in betting using market data. It can build your bankroll as well for the final month and a half of Best Ball. So check it out at probably.com. Stochastic for DFS. And of course, Drafters will hit on Saturday. Drafters.com to download the app and use promo code SPLASH on there for a $100 pure deposit match. Put 100 in, get 100 back, that kind of thing. Shout out to all the fine folks, including our guy who joined earlier in the video. What was the name again? That was our guy Matthew, of course. Matthew joined. He'll be added to the list. Tomorrow's a reading of names. All your support goes a long way here. So hit the join button down below for $4.99 a month. Get a VIP Discord on Pete's the Pause Game Discord. Pete Overzet's Pause Game Discord. You also get 10 team reviews a month for me and my rankings, which have over 275 player blurbs right now. Get updated weekly with explorable ranks on Underdog. So check that out. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. And gamble responsibly while you're at it. I'll be back tomorrow with more, guys. See you at Wink, 11 a.m. Enjoy your days. And, of course, good luck. Bye-bye.